who is also with regarding to Swachh Sarvekshan, my lecturer will be Nagesh Aras, and I would like to invite Nagesh Aras to go ahead and start the presentation. He will just start it again. We both will be taking the class for today, and maybe next classes and all, there will be other lecturers who will come and also take classes with regarding to maybe once it comes to disposal, once it comes to processing, or once it comes to other subjects, there will be other subject matter experts who will come and take your classes. So like that, you will be having a lively class where you will not see only my face and Nagesh face, but we will be seeing other faces also who will come and give the classes with regarding to all this. Nagesh has been, especially when it comes to processes and framework and policies and other things, Nagesh has been in forefront with regarding to Bangalore city and lot of other, it includes a lot of other frameworks which we both are working or we have been doing. So even Swachh Sarvekshan is something that we have done for other cities, but not for Bangalore, let me tell you. Even though the other cities we have done better and have got them ranks, but at the same time, we could not do. That is one sad part that I do regret and I always feel very guilty about, that for Bangalore city, we could not do, when it came to, Swachh Sarvekshan ranking and other things. Nagesh, will start.
Can you see the screen now? I have shared the screen.
White screen, Nagesh.
It's a blank screen.
Yeah, it's blank screen. that is what you should be seeing right now. Okay. So before I start, I would like to highlight that I understand that most of the group members right now are related to the solid waste management. Is that right?
Yes.
Somebody will have to answer some of my questions. Pardon me for that, because I am not
solid waste management.
very aware of the group composition. But I believe that there are no consultants, there are no manufacturers. These are all mainly volunteers who are actually putting up work for a very long time, and they do have their sphere of influence. So I am going to tune my presentation for them, right? I mean, I am aware that these people are not involved in, say, toilet and other, the sanitation part of it, or sewage and other, sewage treatment, STP, fecal sludge management, and so on. So although the Swachh Sarvekshan does cover those topics and has very heavy marking for that, I'm not going to cover. Now, I have a question actually. There are very good amount of marks for, almost like 1/3 or rather 35% of marks for citizen feedback. Now that feedback arises out of the system performance, number one. And number two, the citizen participation. That means these not only individual citizens, but typically NGOs, the businesses, the shops, and so on. There are all different levels of entities who can participate and who are supposed to be encouraged by the BBMP to participate, and they are supposed to be recognized, and the time frame for that is actually October, November. If we miss that window, then we will lose a heavy amount of marks. Now, do we address that portion or not? That is the question to be put. Because this is nothing to do with what we do. These are generic points and the points related to the public relation maintained by PR exercise done by the ULB to reach out to the public. And there we, as opinion makers and as people with...
We have to cover it, Nagesh. It is a part of the work we do, that we have to be the bridge between the BBMP and the general public to create this awareness. It has always been a very weak spot for the BBMP. Right. And after the CPP comes in, one of the big roles, responsibilities that we have to take is to be able to cover that citizen, to strengthen the citizen feedback part of it. So please go ahead and cover it.
All right, sure. So now, having that cleared that, now let us come to the main part of the, launch the presentation. So see, basically Swachh Sarvekshana is an exam, as you know. Sarvekshana is basically survey, And so it is basically one type of exam that the ULB is appearing, in which we are partners actually, contributors basically, or rather prime movers, you can say, whatever. So this is where the marks are earned, and they show our position in the whole ranking across the country. However, the main problem is not getting the marks, but setting up the system, optimizing it, and running it on a day-to-day basis. So this is what we should be focusing on. So the first part of my presentation would be looking at that, rather than earning points, or rather, convincing the examiners and surveyors that we are good. We should be looking at how we are good, what is our process, how that process can be tuned and perfected, and how to get more marks. Let any surveyor come at any time unknown to us, and he will give the good marks only. So that should be the final outcome of this exercise, our presentation. So this is my viewpoint, and this is from where I will be talking. So let us see what is the real achievement of this whole exercise. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first thing is, this actually says that the, Swachhata SBM, that is the Swachh Bharat Mission, is the main, campaign of this, name of the main campaign, right? Which is run by the government since 2015. And so we are in the 7th year, and then, we basically only, people focus on the one exam part of it, one exam, in fact, out of many. And so we want to see what is the overall picture and how the SBM is related to our SS, which is the Swachh Sarvekshan. So this is a journey, and it has only begun. It has got consolidated, but yet it has begun. So let us see what is the current this one. So solid waste management is one aspect of it. Solid waste management in 2004 to 14 period, it was 18% was the result, actually ongoing result, which increased in 2014 to 2020 period by 40%. Now 58% of solid waste is being handled. So this is the change in the periods remain the same, but we will see the results along different axes. So this is solid waste management, improvement in solid waste management from 18% to 58%, that is by 40% difference. Next is door-to-door collection. Earlier it was 11,000 wards across the country. Now it is 80,100 wards, and the difference of 628%, actually 6 times difference, 6.3 times. So door-to-door collection has also increased, actually. Individual toilets constructed. I think our group is not interested, but the difference in the same period was 386%, from 13% to almost like 66%, actually. So 66 lakh. So this was the huge difference. But since our group is not interested, I will move on. Community public toilet, again the same, for the public who is out in the open, they basically have to use some toilet. So this 9 times, almost like 10 times increase in this number. Open defecation, again no city was registered. Now 4,320 cities have declared themselves to be open defecation free cities. So this is the real objective of the SBM. And actually, we are supposed to contribute in such objectives rather than focusing on our, marks. The marks we will get eventually, but if we, work for these objectives, we will automatically get the marks. That is my point. So this was the journey. Whole thing has happened like this. In 2016, the top line actually shows the years. The bottom line shows the number of cities which participated in the movement SBM, that is the Swachh Bharat mission. So initially, Now I will invite also Ram to actually talk in between. What I will do is I will explain the concept behind each block, and Ram will provide the further comments and practical examples. Ram, I hope you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, so in 2016, the actual mission started in 2015, but 1 year it took to show some results. So we talk of it from 2016 onwards. So in the first year, they only talked about physical progress. That means how many, where to do the solid waste management, how many wards to cover, and what are the type of contracts to be done, and all that kind of thing. Ram?
So what we see is during the 2016 Swachha Sarvekshan, the thing that were asked was at least you are able to collect the garbage properly, try to keep the street clean, or just collect the garbage. It did not mean where the garbage is. It was not door-to-door collection also. At least wherever it is being dropped, like in the corner of the street, or it is in a dustbin, or it is in some place, the collection of that one, that is physical progress. Like physically the things are just collected off. There was no this thing asked as to whether are you taking care of it properly. All those things were not there. The main itself was to start off. Now, one of the things you will see in Swachha Sarvekshan is they have not started anything all of a sudden. This was all planned properly in such a way that slowly things were being made more tighter and tighter, so that end of the day you achieve something like a clean city with lot of process in place. And putting the process was given more importance right from the day one. It was surely not just some ground, like you're collecting of the garbage, you're finishing of the vulnerable points, or you're finishing of a black spot. That one was not the purpose. So the purpose was to slowly see to it that that doesn't happen at all. So you will see in the 2016 there were only 73 cities, and Mysore got the first place in that time. And because it's a tourist spot, so they kept the city clean. But what they did, they just saw to it that all the garbage are collected properly, and maybe went and put in a place. Yeah, that was the main thing that was happening in 2016. 2017, Nagesh.
Yeah, so in 2017, see, basically the question paper set was very easy. So to encourage people to join. In fact, I remember that in those years, some states actually refused to join. Say West Bengal, and there were 1 or 2 other odd states which actually said that we are not going to participate because they were afraid of failing. So this happened, but gradually, as you see the bottom line, the numbers in blue, if you see, they have gone on increasing. And now they have reached the saturation point. So the progress is not that much. However, the criteria, if you go from left to right, have gone on tightening. And that shows also that the people's acceptance of those criteria is increasing, and they are finding it easy because now they have got used to this kind of year-on-year progress basically. So in 2017, the output parameters were, defined for the first time. Ram, you please give a comment on this.
When we mean output parameters, first time it was told that, you collect or you take out the garbage. Now they were asking the question that how many autos are collecting, how the collection is happening, what way the collection is happening. They need to show an output that it is being actually collected, and output parameters like, there may be, you may be telling that I'm putting everything in the landfill, or I am trying to compost it here, but you need to show that it is actually producing an output, and it is just not that, I'm only doing the collection. So in the 2017, they had to prove what is happening. Like, you are not just collecting, how much you are collecting, what way you are collecting. From there, it had to go to that the output, whatever is coming out of that one, or that particular process, like, it can be a collection process, it can be door-to-door collection process. The output parameters were made very kind of given, and they were made little more stricter, that you need to prove that your auto, if it is collecting 1 ton, then from where it is collecting that 1 ton, how it is collecting, where the thing is going and getting dumped or disposal is happening. If there is secondary transportation, how the secondary transportation is being collected, what way it is happening. And at that time, you could give it in a just normal chit. It can be a written diary over there, and that diary itself can tell you that, that itself was enough for the Swachh Sarvekshan to come and check and then, give the marks on that one. We will, as we go further, we'll tell you how the checking happens for each parameter. Like, for each and every question that they tell, there is a way that they check. So those, how they check, what are the questions, how that one, in further classes that will be told. But now you can only understand here is that there were output parameters that were given, and each ULB or Panchayat had to meet that output parameters also.
So in 2018, see, up to now, we were asked to do the activity and do certain, prove that the output of those activities were such and such. However, in 2018, they switched over to outcomes. See, whatever activity you want to do, but finally, what is the result? So that is more important. So that was brought in for the first time. For example, if you have declared that I am doing so much of garbage collection, so what would be your outcome? Your outcome would be a clean street, right? And lack of garbage anywhere, no black spot, and so on. So these are the outcomes, and those outcomes were, they were brought into the focus in 2018. Ram?
The example that I would give here is in 2018, the thing they were asking was, we declared that we have got a composting plant. That is very nice. You have got a composting plant. Then the question came up, what is happening to the compost? Is that actually producing any compost? So many cities claim that yes, we are producing compost, and so many farmers we are given. So the simple question was asked, okay, give us the farmer's details. Give us the farmer's phone number, give us everything. That means the checking, the survection was not just, looking at, you claim that you are, producing compost, but at the same time, they also wanted to know whom did you give the compost, and they would cross-check on the person who has received the compost, whether did they receive or not receive. This outcomes did not stop at only at the disposal level, but also at the citizen level. Until now, they were only, even in the citizen engagement, they were talking about output parameters. Did the rickshaw come? Now the later on part was, did the rickshaw come? Did the rickshaw pick up? Now, was there any black spot? Did they take it from there? So even the outcomes with regarding to citizen engagement and experience was also recorded in the 2018. And it was not just only just the output, but also the outcomes. And the outcome also started looking at the amount of money that you are spending on this. It was just not a amount. Until now, there was no talk about what is the amount you are spending, what is the money you are spending on solid waste management. But from here, it started that the outcomes should be with regarding to, there is a balance in the amount of money that you are getting and that you are spending. So even those kind of things also started coming in somewhere in 2018. And we can see, I don't want to, we can give more examples when it comes to ODF and others also. But at the same time, what I would like to tell you here is that we will talk, if you are taking ODF classes, we will talk about that one also, how it went into toilets and how the outcomes of the toilets. It was not just output, like, the cities would declare that we have done 800 or 1 lakh toilets, but the toilets did not have water. So the outcome was becoming more important in 2018. 2017 doesn't talk about water in the toilet, but 2018 talks about water in the toilet. And you will see how 2019 it changed again. Change means they kept on bringing slowly by slowly, tightening the way the process happens. Remember, Swachh Sarvekshan is not an exam. It is not just a, that day I will sit and mug up and I'll get marks. It is surely not that day sitting and getting and mugging up and getting marks. This is a process, and you need to follow the process all through the year. Only then you will start getting the marks and other things. Nagesh, 19.
Yeah, so in 2019, so far we did all the processes, then we talked about the outputs, and then we talked about the outcomes, that is the end result, whether the end result is effective or not. Can somebody, if he comes, an unknown person, what does he see? So that was the progress up to 2018. But in 2019, a sustainability angle was added. That means once you hold, it should not be by fluke, because many of the cities basically claimed some things which ultimately went back. you know, because when they came, they, you know, said that, okay, my, you know, I have 5 plants, but those plants were not running. So, which was discovered in due time. So they had to scale back on their claims. So the sustainability is a big issue that, you know, not only you have to establish something, but you have to keep on running it on a sustainable basis, on an ongoing basis. You cannot go downwards. So that became a main criteria. Ram?
Yeah, in sustainability, you know, on the ground level, I know that many of us would see certain things, what was happening in 2019. It was not just removal of black spot, that black spot should not occur again there, or it should not occur in any of the places. So C&T sustainability was to be seen that the process or the procedure is put in such a way that it becomes sustainable in this thing, that there are no black spots. So black spots is equal to not a proper C&T, that is not a proper, when we mean C&T, it is collection and transportation of segregated waste. Also in this 2019, with regard to sustainability, the segregation by 2019 itself, the segregation part was something was becoming stronger. And here one more thing that happened in sustainability was not just you are collecting, but you are seeing to it that the collected waste is not mixed in any way, but it is taken to the processing center properly, and all those things in the sustainable manner. And the sustainability also meant that whatever your income is towards from solid waste management, maybe it is in form of taxes, or in form of user fee, or in form of sale of compost, or in the form of sale of dry waste, whatever it is, you had to bring in a kind of circular economy, or you had to kind of bring in a kind of sustainability, that they should not be taking any money from the government, but they should put it, it should be generated within the solid waste management, or within the that whole sector itself. Nagesh?
Then in the next year, the one major change happened: institutionalization of Swachhata. That means, you know, the sustainable part is over. Now the operation is sustained, but it has to be institutionalized. Now, what do we mean by institutionalizing? Let us see. You know, it goes beyond a well-managed operation. It basically has 2 different, additional elements. That is the public participation and public trust. So this was added in 2020. That means, last year actually. And this model was running in 2020, but it was introduced before that. So you can actually, imagine that this was actually 2 years old, model. Right now, we are actually using 2022 model, not 2021 model. So this is something which we need to understand very properly, and this probably will need more brainstorming as we progress in the course. So this is this chart actually. Can everybody see the chart?
Yes,
Yes, I can see the chart.
Okay. So this has got 2 different blocks. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay. So the top block actually shows the organization, how a well-organized organization works. And the bottom part, a small part, actually talks about the institutionalization of that organization. So talk about anything, whatever, a department, agency, a ward, organization, or how, corporator actually runs his, area, everything. So this, the organization applies to a private company, it applies to government, it applies to judicial system, whatever it is. So we have to, look at this model to understand exactly how the system is arranged. So you can see, right, for the time being, you ignore the bullet points. These are all, additional details. But we have to start with our mission. What we have to be clear about, what we are supposed to do as an organization. The second, it results into objectives and goals for the organization, which then results into responsibilities and authorities to be given to every, person and every, level of management and workers. Then the organization structure gets developed, which is designed to achieve all the goals and objectives which are there, and with the given responsibilities and authorities. Then the processes are engineered. carefully, and they are tuned. And as the time passes, then we actually tune them to be more efficient and to have no gaps and no overlaps and more efficiency. And then the, one part of that is budget allocation. The budget should be enough to run our, all the operation. One example is that, in case of lakes, we talk about rejuvenating lakes, but we have only 5% of the required budget. And so we cannot do anything, right? So without budget, it is useless to talk about, our goals and, organization and so on. Most of the money actually goes in salaries only. You don't have any money left for doing actually work. So this is the, the largest problem that people face, especially when there is a money crunch or when money is actually siphoned away. This is the problem we face. Then comes the staffing. So apart from organization structure, the staffing is important because you have to pick and choose the correct type of person for the correct job. If the person is not knowledgeable in the domain what we want, then it will be a big problem. If the person is too junior or too senior, then there are problems. Okay, because if a person has to work in certain capacity, then he has to have enough adequate experience and adequate power. If it is not given to that person, then he cannot operate. He or she cannot operate. So this is very much required. Then comes the skill development. Skills, as opposed to the existing capability of the person, skills have to be developed for whatever job they are supposed to do. So in some cases, the skills may not be there. So this skill has to be imparted. Okay, so that also is, there. Then performance measurement. I'm talking about not the individual performance measurement, but the departmental performance measurement. So how the department is working, how the whole system is working. So that has to be measured. And finally, it has to be managed. So performance, once it is measured, then comes the question of managing it. Suppose things are not happening quickly, then what we do we need to do? Suppose there are in trucks collection, the trucks are not coming on a daily basis, they are very irregular, then the performance measurement will highlight that issue, and then we have to then take corrective action. Sometimes we have to take disciplinary action, including firing some people or giving off to some subcontractor, or increasing the staff, or changing some procedure, whatever it is. All that is part of the performance management, where poor performance has to be punished and good performance has to be rewarded. So everything comes in this. So up to this, it is completely well-managed organization, nothing more than that. Okay, now comes the public transparency, public trust, public participation, and getting their confidence. That makes a well-run organization an institution. If the organization is not even running properly, then it cannot be institutionalized, because the public will never get trust, because they will say, okay, I'm getting lousy service, right? Then how can they gain trust in that? Okay, so that is why we have to, first perform well, we have to manage it well, and then, approach the public to gain their trust. And what is involved? Public transparency means we have to have, first of all, we have to be transparent about our operation and our results. So we talk about public charter. That means, suppose, every day your garbage will be picked up on certain time, and within this to this time, that guarantee is given, that guarantee should be followed. So the procedure should be given, or expected results should be published. Data, maps, and results should be put in public domain. For example, if we talk about routes, okay, what are the routes in the available area? How many Paur Karmikas are assigned to a given road? And who is the supervisor? What is his contact number? Everything should be transparently available. So if I have, let us say, a black spot in my vicinity as a member of public, then I should know whom to call, right? And those grievances, then comes, public participation. Once I am putting out my details very clearly that, if you have a problem, please contact so and so. And I am committing to you that in 24 hours, it will be handled. This is called service level agreement, SLA. So in service level agreement, you give certain commitment, and that has to be followed up. So that you commit to these people, and then public actually tries you. Public actually gives a complaint, or they actually tell you that, okay, there is a black spot, please come and remove it. And they watch. So if you can perform within your available, I mean, the committed SLA, the service level agreement, then you gain trust. The public will always praise you because you are meeting your SLA, commitments. So this is the way to gain public, trust. And then comes the public grievance, because sometimes what happens is that, despite one or two reminders, things are not happening in some cases. So then there should be escalation path available. And so public should be allowed to escalate that issue and come back saying that, okay, I have a problem. I tried three times, but my SLA, according to SLA, this spot did not get cleared. Or last week they cleared it, but this week it has happened again. This may be a relapse of the issue, which might be there actually. So these both kind of problems the public is likely to raise. Or they may come and say that some service timing is not convenient to me because I am a office goer. Everybody is supposed to leave our house, so we cannot keep our thing out. 2 beans and 1 bag out because they get stolen. So I want some changes in the process, or I want to do something, some suggestion or some grievance is raised. Now there should be a definite way to handle it. A feedback should be given. If it is going to take time and it is going to be delayed, if the solution is not available quickly, then the person has to be taken into confidence. Then only the public has more trust on such a body, right? So this applies to ward level, it applies to zone level, it applies to city level, everywhere, right? And it applies to all the aspects of the operation. Say, for example, public may be happy with your, pickup service, but they may not happy with your landfill service. They may say that, what is this going on? Mandur people are, so unhappy, and, every day there is a drama, or some other landfill is being used. I don't know. Those people, environment groups are actually protesting that this is going to spoil our groundwater. What is happening? Why don't they set up sanitary landfills? So these are the different types of opinions that public may have based on their direct observation or based on the newspaper or TV reports what they read. And this is where we have to address those people, those problems heads on. It cannot be avoided. It cannot be postponed. So this is the type of institutionalization which we talked about in 2020. That means 2 years back. Remember, we are following 2022 model now today. So this was 2 years back. We actually had already come to this. Okay. And Ram, do you have to add anything on this?
Institutionalization part, even though it was bought in 2020, if you read the 2017 and 2018 and 2019 toolkit, what we call as the test book, if you read those, this thing, you will see that they had slowly started off this work of trying to tell that, make all these processes where, what SLAs are there and grievances are there, how Swachhata app was supposed to be put in, the number of downloads of Swachhata app started getting marks for it. So in a way, all the ingredients what just now, with an organization structure or organization and institutionalization in different parts, they had already started off. It was in 2020, they started consolidating all those things into one nutshell. And remember, until now also, the ODF and water and garbage-free city, we are at to speak about a few other things, but at the same time, this all were not there, and this all were done separately. And you will see how further they have done. But during this was the period 1920 was when rating was bought in, star ratings were bought in, and other things. So institutionalization just not in this format, but also giving different exams at different level. That again we will tell you, how there are. It is not just such a survection is not just one exam. It is 3 exams that we give practically, and this 3 are 3 different exams, and the exam doesn't start only on the month of December or January, but the exam starts in the month of April itself. because there is one quarter in April, there is another quarter, there are two quarters, and there is a third one, and after the third one is a survection. So you will see that there is practically they are covering only 2 months you get in between, where you don't have much of this thing, but from April, again, you need to start off. So in 2020, we saw that one also, wherein the quarterly things also started coming during that time, where it was just not only for the sake of December, January, when the Swachha Sarvekshan was happening, only during that time you do something. No, it had to be a process. It had to be that you had to do all these things all through the year, and then only it was being taken into account. There also there were marks. We will explain to you as we go further how all those things are done, and what are the different marks that you get for quarterly, then what you get for the final exam, and then there are other certifications that needs to be done. What are the marks that they get during that time, that we will tell. But by that time, by 2020, all these things were getting consolidated. Nagesh, 21.
Yeah, actually, Ram brought up a topic which I didn't have in mind, because an institution is not for the sake of exam, right? I mean,
Yes.
You cannot have a Ratorat Lambi Dadi, right? The institution has to be a permanent entity. It has to be a seriously run, organization with a staffing, budget, skill set development, and performance measurement. That is a 24/7 kind of job, actually, or rather 9 to 5 into 365 kind of job. If you count the solid waste management, I think the hours are much longer, and it is a 365 days job, right? It is nothing to do with our exams. So let us not keep the exams in mind, please. The exams are, an incidental thing. We are talking about a system which has a permanent character. It is not supposed to, like mushroom, you can't develop it for the consumption of the surveyor. And after the surveyor leaves in 2-3 days, the mushroom will wilt, right? So we are not, going for mushroom, farming. Right, we are establishing an entity which is left, which is set up for life, and which has got long-term commitment, which has got a continuity. Whether people come, people go, corporators come, MLA comes, MPs come, and they go. But this system must not be influenced by them. There must not be a person dependency, and it must continue in its policy, and it should grow along with this national model which is given to us year after year. The model changes, and we have to change with that. So this is exactly what we should be looking for. So I hope that our approach basically changes to look at what are the process related requirements, and we gear up for that. Now coming to 2021, means last year's model, not this year's model. Here all the different approaches were integrated. Now, what do we mean by different approaches? What is this approach? So there are different things, the different schemes were being run. One was ODF, the open defecation program. Then comes the solid waste management program, was running since 2015. So this is an old program. But then came the water, this one. So in totality, this whole subject is called WASH. I hope people are aware of this, WASH. Can somebody give me a feedback whether this is already covered, or is it a new subject? Then we will have to cover it.
It has to be covered, Nagesh.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
It's a new subject and it has to be covered, but you can do it briefly.
Okay. So the integration is basically, WASH means, actually it's a acronym, a little bit acronym, but jumbled up acronym. It is basically water and sanitation, this one, hygiene and sanitation, 3 things. So WSH, water, sanitation, and hygiene. These 3 factors are there. A stands for and. So it is displaced from 3rd place to the 2nd place. So, just bear with it. The acronym is called WASH, and there are several reports and there are several approach papers available. And they are particularly of concern in country like ours, where there are a lot of slums and a lot of the low income group people, and so they need some systemic help and systemic regulations to avoid any outbreak of diseases and unhygienic condition developing there, and so on. So there is a lot of a need for infrastructure and lot of need for processes and lot of day-to-day management from the BBMP, BWSSB, and so on. By the way, this is also the time when BWSSB makes its grand entry into the picture, right? We are talking only about BBMP as a our focus area. But now it is not so, because now we are talking about water also, we are talking about hygiene also. So these three things includes, let us say, for example, sanitary pad, how women are not able to participate in schools or other activities because of these constraints. What happens in slums, the equity angle from transgenders and other disadvantaged groups, the Divyang people, the people who have some sort of disability, how they are actually disadvantaged. All those things started coming together, and in the 2022 they have gone even more stronger on those themes. But we will stick to 2021 and talk about the integrated approach. So this WASH became a theme, and there we talk about water, sanitation, and hygiene together. Ram?
Yeah. In the integrated approach, it was not only this much, but all the other things also were brought into picture, like where certification started way back in 2019, 2018-19 itself, ODF certifications and the way to do it and all those things, it started off. But at the same time, this was made more into what you call it as more institutionalization by allowing third parties to, that was already by 2019-20 that third parties were doing the work, where government in ODF plus and other things, and GFC, that is garbage free city star rating, the central committee was not coming, or the central government was not coming, but rather a process was made, and they were told to simply come and do the survection, do this thing, and give the certification, give the city the star rating or ODF plus certification and other things. And it totally became a third party kind of a thing. And this is where we see that slowly the process was slowly pulled out of the government doesn't come and rate a hotel as 5-star, 7-star and other things. It is a private party or somebody one who goes ahead and does the job. It was the same way this even the city, especially the SS survection, many of the parts where the marks started or the certification started coming from there. Like they can be done by big surveying or big auditing firms, which would come and do the auditing for you and then declare, take all the evidences and everything else and declare whether the city is ODFF or ODF plus or ODF plus or water plus or all those, and or if it is GFC, that is garbage free city star ratings. All those things were done from a third party angle or from institutions which were doing big auditing institutions or surveying institutions like that. So Carvey or KPMG and Gold Standards, there were, I think so, there were 2-3 of us who were given in charge of this one, where you could go and approach them and then get your city to be in those certifications. So this is exactly like any other certification we do. It all went into different ways, and there were much lesser influence of trying to influence a government official or trying to do all those kind of hanky pankies were not there. And by this time you should have seen that it was no more somewhere you could do a guided tour. Like you could take the Swachh Sarvekshan person, like in 2016-17, the Swachh Sarvekshan person would come and sit with us, and then we would tell that, why don't you come here and see this one, and we would just take them there and show them. This was all guided tour. But by 2018-19, there were no more guided tours. We did not even know who is coming and doing it. We did not even know the person who was actually coming on the ground and doing the survection. When did they do? What time did they do? And when they did, and they went off. nothing was like, that would become in a norm of the day that you will never even come to know what was this thing. As we go further, we'll show you that, because Q1 and Q2, it is all by call. They are going to call and then they are going to validate what is the kind of marks you have told that, if it is 50% segregation, 80% segregation, then whether that is happening or not happening will be by a call from from some firm. You will not even know who has called, and they could call somebody randomly and ask whether in your ward segregation is happening, or simply they would ask, how are you giving your garbage? So those questions also are, how are you giving your garbage? Are you giving it in 3 different bins or 3 different this thing, or are you just giving in one? Are they coming regularly? Are they not coming? They can call anybody. Any phone number they could just call and they can take the information, and they would make only now certain number of calls. Like, the criteria are there that, they make only certain number of calls, like 250 calls for a city like Bangalore, 250 calls would go. And in that 250, if practically more than out of every 10 call, if 8 calls or even 6 calls tell that, no, garbage is not being picked up free, then your, marks comes down very drastically. That means maybe the marks claimed will not be yours. So there is a formula that they have, how they will give you the marks once what you claim, and once they do the validation, what the marks will be. So all those kind of integration of ODF, integration of water also became a very important part, because we may think that, we will get good marks because there is no garbage in the land. But let me tell you, no garbage in the land could, if it is fetching you 400 marks, by having that same garbage in water, that is in your drains or in your other things, you are losing 800 marks. So this is the way that they started striking a balance, that because it is inside the nala or inside the lake or inside in some water body, it need not have to be that it is clean. So that is where the whole thing, like integrating water also into this one, good water, quality water, and even water, this thing where it is, and all those kind of things, that also is under Swachh Sarvekshan. And then integrating ODF was integrated right from 2016 itself. That is open defecation. Open defecation was always a thing right from that time. Then comes the urination part, and all those things started getting integrated together to tell that Swachh Sarvekshan means it is just not only solid waste management, but also all these things put together becomes a clean city. So that is where it started, and integration also meant to bring in quite a good amount of technology into it. To bring in attendance technology, or the way that, GPS and all those things, that all, if you see, if you start reading all these different textbooks or toolkits that were given, you will see that gradual this thing of trying to bring in more and more technology, make it more real time, more foolproof, all those kind of things. So every city had to do this. It is not just, by, collecting garbage and putting it in one corner, you would get your rank. Every city had to prove that they have been doing this kind of, progress year on year. And that is when you are actually getting your marks and getting your ranks and other things. Nagesh.
Yeah. So now, out of what Ram said, there is one theme which I would like to pick and, move further. And he said that, this, exams, the score basically is, getting comprehensive. And now in 2022, this is, it is taking to a further extreme by putting it on digital monitoring scheme, in the sense that all the vehicles and all the locations are supposed to be geo-tracked. The GIS location of those things have to be placed. And not only that, but they have to be shared instantly live on the, their SBM portal. So countrywide dashboard will be prepared, in which this entire, the assets which are there, they will be tracked actually, either mobile or non-mobile. For example, all the toilets, there is a Google map available already, which actually shows where are the toilets in the city, right? I mean, whether there are 2 types of toilet. One is called community toilet, the other is called, public toilet. So both types of toilets are actually shown. And likewise, all our tippers, all our compactors, everything, when they are moving, the real-time data would be shown in that portal. And that is the already there is the requirement. And in all requirements right now, in today's model, they have only attached some 10% of marks. So therefore, out of 6,000 marks, 600 marks are just for, approximately just on this sort of thing, that whatever you do has to be real time and it has to be directly conveyed to their portal, not our portal also, because there is a chance that we may manipulate the data afterwards. So there are two things which are eliminated here. One thing is that, so after the fact, you just sit down and make your own report, which has a lot of potential of faking. So that is eliminated. There is no post facto report at all. This is all real-time data. And that real-time data is not even supposed to be kept in our website. It is supposed to be directly submitted online streaming to their portal. So this is, no data remains with us at all. I mean, and not only that, but they have actually made further many provisions, which we'll come to in the next slide. Before that, Ram, please conclude.
I'll be concluding this whole thing. It is already, we did not even know that it is already 4 o'clock. And I think so we have done a good 50 minutes, this thing only in trying to explain whatever was happening until now. To be precise, we have not even started the class. We have not even started the first chapter of the textbook at all. So one of the things here is digitalization started quite some time back. That was 2019, if this thing is right. Even 2018 also, we did do have some small this thing. Good amount of manipulation of data was happening. It was all in files and other things. And you could keep one Word file and keep everything inside the Word file, and everything was in handwritten and notebooks and other things. So any pages can fly away. But as you go by, let it be 2020, 21, all these processes are being slowly brought towards at least in digitalization. First it started off, then it went on to becoming now 2022 is real time. It is no more that you will keep everything and they will submit it in one. No, it is no more of you submitting something. They already have what is happening with you. And this is the reason I tell Swachh Sarvekshan, even though many times me and Nagesh have a issue on how we are both approaching and certain things, but here I'll tell you one thing, that I feel that this is a mirror, mirror which shows what is happening with the city. If as citizens and as the city managers, like the bureaucrats, if they can take what is happening in reality, they can see what is happening in real terms, that is when they will be able to make the adjustments, or will be able to do the real thing that is happening. So many a times we take wrong routes. Let me tell you, many a times we have seen that many of the cities, just because they think that they would have thought that by just keeping the city clean, I'm ready. No more by keeping city clean.
Bandar waste nanu.
By just keeping the city clean for the month of December and January, it is not going to work out. Now it is all how the process is happening, how many houses are there, whether they are collecting door to door, all has to be in real-time data. So you can understand this is a process. It is not just one-time business, or it is, again, one more thing is, this is exams now. Before it was only once in a year exam, then slowly it became kind of quarterly. Now it is practically every day. Every day you'll have to upload. So unless until you are doing it properly on ground. So the thing is, it is just not for marks. It is when you do the process properly, automatically you start getting the marks. So worrying about the marks, let us do it less. But at the same time, we should concentrate. Where should we concentrate is where more marks are getting accumulated, rather than sometimes a certain activity gets very less, but we concentrate practically 80% of our time in that one. So time allocation, when I mean time allocation, is when we are discussing, when we are doing things as a group, or as bureaucrats or city managers, where should you concentrate, where your focus should be, that should be the main thing. And the focus is very clear. that it has to be in certain area, and that is where the marks are more. Where the marks are more, concentrate on that area. It may be very difficult to achieve, but at the same time, because something else is easy to achieve within 2 days, we'll do, or we will be able to do it easily because we may be doing that one for the sake of name, fame, glory. Please, name, fame, glory, that may not fetch you the marks. End of the day, we should be doing what fetches us. And one thing is, it is just not the marks. End of the day, it is the process. It is the process by which, or the system that we need to put in, and that is the way. And Nagesh has been one of our, who puts up systems and really sees that, where is the reality is in. So many times we get, sideline, and we are walking in a wrong path, and we have traveled a long distance. And then we realize that, oh, I walked a long distance and it is a wrong path. But our ego stops us from telling that, no, maybe I'm still in the right path and all those kind of things. And we continue to go in the wrong path instead of correcting ourselves and coming to the right path. And Swachh Sarvekshan is something that does that every time, every year, it keeps on doing it for us, telling that, no, maybe you're taking a totally wrong path, you're concentrating, you're focusing on a different things, where the concentration and focus has to be totally on a different one. That we need to look at and keep on, seeing to it that, that is where our hard work needs to go. We all are working. I know many of the people here are working very hard, but at the same time, if it is not focused on things which are high, lot of marks, and we are only because we get name, fame, glory because of doing certain things, that may not fetch the marks at all. And we should not then think that why are not getting the marks, and that may not even set up a system, or we may set up the wrong system. Let me tell you one of the wrong systems that we have set up. Nagesh, can we talk about the wrong system of black spot management?
Yeah, I will come to that. There is a slide for that. So we will conclude this.
Tell you how a system has gone totally wrong, and we have made a system for that one also. So like that, we have taken wrong.
I mean, we can. Okay, I will just briefly mention that part. See, one of the requirement is that there is no, ground vulnerable point. GVP means actually the black spot, what we call, right? I mean, the heap of garbage in some spot. So they say, when they say that there must not be any, black spot in the ward, then only it is, it earns, a certain amount of points. But instead of that, what we have done, we have made a system out of it, that we have actually set up a logistical system to clear away such garbage, on a regular basis, almost like daily somebody or weekly basis, somebody comes and cleans those black spots. So that encourages, or that rather not encourage, but rather it tolerates the generation of the black spot. It does not eliminate the root cause of that, occurrence of that black spot, which was the question asked. So when somebody asks you, how will you eliminate these black spots? That was the question. And we say, don't worry, I will clean it up. It will not remain there for long. This is, you can see the disconnect between the question and the answer. So this is what we have been doing, and we have been tolerating. And probably as a volunteer force, we have no say in what is happening actually. So a sizable amount of manpower and trucks and other vehicles are assigned for this particular task. Same as our potholes. The question to be asked is why our roads are so bad quality that they keep on getting potholes every now and then. And it is turned into a very wrong answer, saying that don't worry, once it happens, we will fill it up immediately with jelly and whatnot. Then the discourse goes into, oh, don't use jelly because it soon develops potholes. So that is the reason why we get potholes. But the main question is why the engineering manufacturing is so bad that the road cannot withstand a shower of rain. So this is the same type of situation which gets developed in solid waste management only. Because the logical place to see is when the black spot gets developed, that means the surrounding population is not getting a proper collection service. Only then people will dump. Otherwise, they are not crazy enough to come and create garbage spot in some place. So that means you have to look around and find out where the gap is. Rather than that, we actually, set up a system to clear up those black spots on a regular basis. So this is the kind of stupid management which is institutionalized, not institutionalized in the sense which I talked about, but in general, it becomes a, permanent nature. So this is where we have to actually look at the root cause for whatever problems we have and address those root cause properly. Also set up, a nudging policy which makes people adopt the good practices and stay away from bad practices. And also we have to ensure that people are not forced to do something antisocial because they have no other option. Now, for example, people who are dumping this, garbage in lakes or in other, this one, any other spot, or take it for roadside or whatever. So that is because of some, because they are forced to do it. They have no other better option. So if they are, suppose if they had public trust, if the agency had public trust, and if anybody could approach the agency and they could put a demand that, okay, I am having this particular problem, I cannot either afford it or I cannot, the service is not convenient to me. In that case, he would not be forced to create a black spot in the first place. So ideally, we should have zero manpower and zero trucks assigned for clearing of black spots. But instead, our percentage, if you see the data, probably is increasing. So we are not doing something right. So this is the example which Ram wanted. Ram?
Yeah, we will go to the next one, or we'll give a we'll go for question answer session and then get into the other things.
Yeah, now I will go for a quick this one of the what are the marking, because ultimately it might be on your mind, like how is the marking actually arranged and what we need to do. So let us put that behind our mind, and then move on to how to set up the system, who can set up some systems, and who can whom we need to chase to make those systems. And we talked about the the institutionalization. So the first part, that the organization has to come first. A well-managed organization we have to set up, which basically talks about in real terms, it is talking about equipment for collection, equipment for sweeping or other clearing. Then it talks about vehicles which are required. It talks about the logistics arrangement. It talks about DWCC, setting up DWCC and other, stops on the way. So because we are supposed to take the whole chain of not only collection, but transportation, segregation, separation, reuse of whatever can be reused and remanufactured out of the reject items. All that is part of the game now. The new model actually requires all that. So we basically will have to talk about it, and somebody has to set up this whole system with the staffing, with the adequate amount of people, adequate amount of budget, adequate amount of equipment, vehicle, and so on. So either we do it ourselves, and if it is not in our hand, we have to know who can do it, and we have to be after that person to set it up. And once that whole setup is ready, then we have to make sure that it runs properly, consistently, and its performance is managed. Not only managed, but public also is aware of its performance management, and they get a chance to have their suggestions, grievances, and feedback. So with that, we will move on to the next this one, which is this particular model. Now 2022 I talked about has got a lot of things. It has specifically 11 new themes which are introduced now. So we will be talking about that one by one. What is new in this year? I mean the 2022 model. So first is end-to-end digital monitoring. So that means it is live. It is basically directly submitted to the national data, and it cannot be edited afterwards. It includes the spatial data. Spatial data is basically GPS based data. It all toilets, all the other vehicles for solid waste management, all your black spots, everything will appear on map. and it will be appear on live. It is not afterwards, nobody will make it. Not only that, but it will be monitored also, the data. Integration of circular economy in waste management operation. Now, this is very, very critical thing. Circular economy means economy where the
There's
manufacturing
nothing
is.
there on the chart.
Hello.
No, nothing on the chart. It's blank.
Mr. Vaman, kindly mute your gadget, please.
Are you not able to see two lines here?
Yes, sir.
No,
We are
nothing.
able to
It's
see.
blank. It is blank.
No,
We are
we
able
can
to
see
see.
it.
We
We
can
can
see.
see it.
No, sir, maybe he's using his phone or something. No, I
No.
think so. It's already there on the screen.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes,
yeah.
please.
Okay, so circular economy, I think some of you people may not know this term. Circular economy is an economy where you have to set up, encourage participants who are actually recycling the used items, and they are bringing it back into the play. So this is actually, like, for example, we typically think of our kabadi, the garbage junk item. Ram, what do you call kabadi wala?
Yeah, here also kabadi one only, but at the same time, that's the reason we have set up DWCCs where we are encouraging waste pickers to come into the system and then manage this whole, segregation, aggregation, and then give it to the recycling.
Right. But recycling does not mean remanufacturing of the whole thing in the fresh one. I mean, in the sense, for example, take cardboard. So when we think of cardboard, we probably think that convert it back to pulp and make new cardboard and then or whatever paper items and all that. But it is not just like that. Many things may be used, reused, salvaged and reused directly. So some parts goes directly back into the economy, some part actually get remanufactured, and some part actually changes its purpose. So for example, tires, for example, take tires. Rubber tires are sometimes used for, say, for example, buffers for boats and all that. You might have seen old tires hung on the sides of boats for shock absorbers, right? So that is one use of it. But other uses of tires could be there, the tires are shredded and now integrated in road making. Similarly, glass and other items, ceramic items are again pounded, pulverized and made into road or cement, something like that. So basically the original purpose of the item is different, but once it is rejected and part of the waste, then it can be segregated and some innovative uses are found for it. And that is what is known as circular economy. And it is now being measured in this, this new model. How much of your recycled material generates money? So it is not only quantity, how many tons and all that. You have to say how much money it got. So this is something which you cannot fake. It has to be a genuine circular economy. Geotagging of 100% of assets and key locations. This is what I told earlier also, that spatial analysis is going to be done. One example of analysis is, do you have DWCC within a given period, distance from all population, surrounding population? Okay, so why? Because what is the trip time, for example? What is the trip time between the DWCC and any farthest population it serves? So similarly, what is the trip time for a dumpster? What is the trip time for waste, waste carriers? So like that, the analysis will be done by the central examiners, and they will not survey. They will look at the data, they will analyze it, and they will assess how good is our operation. So that is the the future going to be. And for that, the foundation is already laid. The geotagging means already everything will be on the map very currently right now. Okay, and in future, suppose a toilet is broken, that indication also may come up, like how Google shows that this store is about to close in 10 minutes, right? When you look for a store, or when you look for some data in Zomato, it will say that restaurant will close at 9 o'clock. Right now it is 9:15. So similarly, this also data will tell you how many plants are running, how many plants, what is the capacity, what is the under capacity. and so on. So that data will be all done with business analytics tools, and we will get a very, very thorough feedback on those aspects. So under no circumstances we can make up stories. Now, fourth point is COVID-19 response is integrated with focus on municipal frontline workers. Have they got both shots? And if they die or have some problem, then how much of their families are actually given the benefits? So all such questions are addressed there, which was not there earlier, obviously. Complaint and helpline number for hazardous entry. This is provided by the ULB, but that is a common number across the country, and this has to be there. So anybody can call up and he can demand. The service on demand basically is set up. So this model is changed now, and we have to comply with that. The idea of a yellow spot. See, defecation part is over. We have almost won the battle, almost. I mean, we are talking about performance of toilet and cleanliness of toilet and such things. But now the idea of open urination is taken up. It is called yellow spot. Okay, so yellow spot idea is introduced, and that is being controlled now. So no more, leaning against the wall also. No, not possible now. Second, the seventh point is Swachhata app. Now there is an app which is launched. Now they have also, I mean, this app is for multi-purpose thing, but it is, yellow spot somebody is doing, and it is a regular practice, then it obviously means that there is no, public toilet nearby. See, whenever we see any problem or any, social problem or antisocial behavior, the so-called antisocial behavior, the real reason is that we have not provided the proper infrastructure for it, right? And then we expect people to behave in a decent way. Now, for example, if our traffic is taking 2 hours to navigate from one place to the other, from work to home, in between people will are likely to get desperate because they may want to go to a toilet. Now, where are the toilets on the way? If there are no toilets, and if the toilets whatever is there are not worth using, they are not hygienic and they are totally dirty, in that case, what options do you have? So people actually go and relieve themselves on the roadside or some isolated plot, and then other people complain about it, saying that you are not good Indians. Now it is not true. The bad Indians are the one who did not provide a proper toilet in the accessible area, right? And the other people are expected to be good Indians by holding their bladder. So this is something which we need to understand. Similarly, people who dump garbage are basically because he doesn't have proper garbage collection service. So somebody else has to take the onus for that, right? It is not his fault. It is somebody else's fault, which is then, that person is blamed as, not having civic sense and things like that. He doesn't do wantonly. 8th, promoting zero waste wedding and zero waste events. So stop waste generated in social functions. Now see, this criteria was long back applied. Long back means maybe a couple of years back. It was applied to permanent halls which are devoted for such functions. So say hotel rooms or the event rooms and Kalyana Mantapa and all that. So, but now any event, now the focus is on the event itself. So anybody has an event, let us say they put up a Shamiana in a ground and they have an event. So what kind of waste is generated? So that is actually now a point of focus now. Next is Atmanirbhar Ward. That means Atmanirbhar Ward and Atmanirbhar RWA, the Residents Welfare Associations, to promote zero wet waste discharge. This is, mind you, this is only about wet waste, not the dry waste or other type of wastes. So wet waste should not be there. So that is the focus. So basically nothing leaves the premises. In other words, whatever gets generated, the wet waste is composted in situ, and what leaves is the compost, right? So that is the focus of the this point actually. Then Swachh City Technology Challenge. Now, what is happening? This is not only focused on the government, that, government, I include the local body as also as a local government. That means BBMP, BWSSB, and all are government for us. Okay. So it is not only, the government's role, but also the public role. However, the government is supposed to encourage them. So have you encouraged? That is the question put up in the model. So what do we need? Innovative solutions from citizens and startups, NGOs, self-help groups, and there are many other entities which are included here. So, they are supposed to be encouraged to come out with their own solution, so that, government is not actually laboring after, people do the dirty work and then government scrambles to clean it up. No, that is not the way. The public has to also participate, and they also have to reduce or recycle or revamp in the entire 3R technology. They have to help out. So this is something which, is also built in the model for the first time. And last point is gender and social inclusion. That is women, transgenders, and Divyang. Divyang means the people with any deformity or, any difficulty of vision or difficulty of any other type of difficulty, walking or movement or anything. So they must be also included in the decision-making process. So what is that decision-making process going to be? That is up to us. However, it should meet this particular requirement. So these are the 11 new elements which have come this year, and it will continue next year also. And therefore, we must stop worrying about exams and surveys and getting results and marks, because every time it is a moving goalpost. So we should only focus on getting a good system underway and not worry about the marks. Marks will come by themselves, right? So do we stop here, or do we actually? I have an analysis of what are the types of marks available for different different areas. How the marks, if we want maximum marks, how we can get. I have a short analysis of that, maybe 5-6 slides. What do we do?
I got the time now. I'm not able to see the time here.
4:30, sir.
4:30. Nagesh, maybe we should stop. We should take questions now. And if time, we will, as I told, I may need 3 to 4 Sundays or classes like this, because we need to cover a lot of subjects and things. Sandhya ma'am, I need your intervention over here. What do you tell? Sandhya ma'am is there?
I think she's not there, Ram.
She may be muted.
Unmute actually. Yes, Sandhya ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Now, do we
representatives? That is, it is basically, till now, it was more or less government as an anonymous entity. I mean, amorphous entity. But now it is getting into the role for public representatives, and what they are supposed to do per se, it is being addressed here. So these are the typical, these are the new elements on top of whatever we saw.
That is what I want to tell you is here, corporator and MLA also will be rewarded or awarded or this thing based on how their constituency or how their ward is. So the role of public representatives, that is in ward ranking and recognition under such a change, that also will be looked into. That is how they are going to be, how their role is going to be. That also today they have just introduced it, and we will see in course of time they will make it more stricter, and that this also in a course of time may become the kind of way how a representative is performing with regarding to Swachhata, or with regarding to cleanliness and other things. That also will be like, who will do good will be getting awards and other things. And obviously they are looking at a competition between corporators and MLAs also, looks like.
No, one direct measure what we can see is one of the areas where we have to deal with is that they look after they actually ask us, the survection actually asks us how much of the budget is spent by state and how much is given to the ULB. The aim is that the entire budget should be under control of the ULB, right? So the power equation between the MLA and the corporator also is like going to change now. So the local, even now we have seen in Bangalore, in fact, that all the ward committees will be able to make their own arrangements, right? Or their own budgets. So this is the direct result of that kind of shift. So the certain things which are not centralized, and for example, some of the things like road sweepers and all that may not be able to come under a ward budget, but other things basically are definitely under ward budget, and therefore the local decision making is supposed to happen. And as the point number 11 mentions, it has to include women, transgenders, and Divyangs. And also maybe there is a language issue also. People, having proficiency in Kannada or English may be getting some advantages. Other people may be left out. So all that we have to actually bring in picture. So this is the story so far. So shall I go ahead? There are 5, 6. It will not take more time.
Conclusion of finishing a full part of the class.
This role of public representatives, you would have a separate class for them.
Okay, sir.
Very important. You have a separate class for them. Sadhya
Yes, sir.
will.
Sir, this you have brought out a very, very relevant point, which Ram and I have been debating for 2 straight days now.
No, there is nothing to debate.
That is, whom do we address all these points? Because there are many of these points which are not in the hands of the volunteers.
Exactly.
This is a leadership role. It is not a manager's role. It is not a volunteer's role. It is not a JC's role, who simply wants to keep himself away from any trouble and who doesn't want to approach public and
Exactly. So this class you must need for them also. Very important.
Yes.
Go ahead and
But after having gone through this class, how much of they will be able to do? Because it clearly calls for some leader who is not afraid to stand out and approach the public as a 1.2 crore public. He has to hold that his own in front of this mass, and then he has to carry with him. He has to set up expectations. He has to actually say that, come with me, let us do this journey together. So that kind of leadership role is required here. It is not meant for individual person who basically works, unknown soldier who is working at a ward level or a street level.
Nagesh, we can
So
go.
should I go forward?
Nagesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just as a passing, the SS survection, the total marking system we will be looking at. At the first outset, I want to get clear about the things which we are not going to talk about, but we need to know about it a little bit. So there are things like ODF plus, ODF plus plus, and water plus. These are the 3 different models. They are totally separate assessments and they are done separately, but their marks are counted. 2,000 out of 6,000 marks are counted. So you have to be aware of that. And secondly, you do have the third column, the last column, if you see water plus. So there a huge impact. That water plus is worth 900 points. Out of 6,000 points, 900 marks are for water plus. And there is a huge contribution by the solid waste team actually. So you can, if you want, you can actually get us 900 points. And if you want, you can lose us 900 points. So that is a huge impact of whatever you do. Because if the water system gets all the solid waste, then those 900 points are gone. So that is in short. Okay. So let us say quickly what are the expectations. So first line, if you see in the table, left column, not a single person is found defecating and urinating in the open. So ODF and ODF plus, you can see what is the difference. I will quickly go through. All community and public toilets are functional and well maintained. Entire fecal sludge septage means the sewage and the product and sewage is safely managed and treated. This is all in this model, and that is included in water model also. And now comes this one. No untreated fecal sludge or septage and sewage in drains, water bodies and open areas. This is also again, related to ODF. However, this one, the all wastewater is treated to satisfactory level before releasing to the environment. Now, how this will be checked is wastewater is treated or not. If it is full of garbage and other leachate and all that, how will they know? Because remember, now the process is not seen, the outcome is seen. So outcome is the proof of pie is in the eating. If they see that this is, all the drains and all the lakes are dirty, that means 900 points gone. So that is why our team actually can influence this to a very large extent, although this is not directly, it does not appear as if this is related to us. Anyway, now we come to the main marking scheme. So should I go ahead or not? This is a five, this one I'll be simply rushing
Nagesh, we'll
through.
the first one, Nagesh. Remaining, we can look at the other things, but we can finish the first.
Okay, so I will start with the overall 6,000 mark scheme. This is divided in 3 different parts. The first part, I have given the coding. The coding you will not find in the survection document, but I have given O1, O2, O3 because I've used it subsequently. And in this document, that is. And the first part is service level progress. That means collection and all this, the entire processing of the, or rather transportation and all that. That is the first one, first line. It carries 2,400 marks out of 6,000. The second one is certification, which is garbage free city for star rating, which is a separate assessment. And the ODF plus, ODF plus plus and water plus, what we just saw, is worth 900 points. So this put together actually is 2,000 points out of 6,000. So 30% of that, the total is these 2 certification. So as I say, the such a survection includes the marks from the other topics also. Okay, so that therefore these, we will, if you want to score marks, then we will have to participate in these 2 also. And we have to satisfy those requirements also. So it is, it is futile to run after exam after exam after example. We will be tired of it. So we should focus on setting up this system and say, making it work. And third point is citizens' voice. This is a feedback loop, and this has got 6 different inputs.
Yeah, Nagesh,
yeah.
GFC is garbage free city, and there is a star rating process. So in this term itself, we will be, we'll be taking a class on star rating also, how the star rating is done, how the GFC is done, how garbage free city, that 1,100 marks which is there, how is that it is happening, and how the certification happens for that, and also will be taken, in a course of time.
And the surveyor for those are different, and they come from different places, and we have to appear in apply separately, but using the same data. So there is no point in doing all this jugglery by making report after report after report. So one system should suffice, right? And which really serves the people. So now the third part, O3, is the citizen's voice, which is broken up into 6 different points. One is the feedback, directly feedback, which is taken by call centers, and they ask you 4 questions selected out of 10 questions, and they get the answer and give the marks. Engagement, citizen engagement of various nature, it is there. There are 12 different engagements are designed. Citizen experience also, what kind of experience we get when we move around the city? Is it beautified? For example, do you find painting showing the glorious past of the city, glorious future of the city, or so on? Or do you see dirty heaps? So what is your experience? Then Swachhata app, or this app, how many people have downloaded it? How many people are actively using it? See, app will be also monitored. How many people are actively, that means you are not only downloaded and kept it, you are actually using it. To that extent, they will go. And they will find out how many people are actually using it and currently using it, not 2 months back or 3 months back. COVID-19 response and innovation used by local public, local NGO, local startups, local, business bodies. It is very important. It is not like imported from outside, right? Our own thing. We are in charge. So that is the point. So that carries 1600 points. That is 27 points of the total, 27% of the total, right? So again, the highest point is given to the actual collection and treatment of this one, 40%, followed by certification, which itself is a long process, and by finally the citizen feedback, our own participation, our own this. This is where I was talking about institutionalization, that is involving the public and getting them the voice, making them proud of the thing that this is what happens in Bangalore. So this is what we are supposed to create that atmosphere. Okay, so now taking the first line, service level progress. What do you mean by service level progress? It's a very vague term actually, but it is defined like this. SLP1 part, there are 3 parts. First is segregated collection. So that is worth 720 marks out of 2,400 marks. So that means 30% of that is given to segregated collection. So not just collection, mixed waste does not get you marks. Okay, so segregated collection is important. Second part is SLP2 code. Again, I gave it. It is not there in general documentation, which is processing and disposal. That carries 840 marks. That means 35% of it, and which is further split into 2 parts. Processing and disposal. Processing is given 27 part. 8%, I mean 192 marks are given for disposal, right? So processing and disposal put together 840 marks or 35% of the total. And then finally, sustainable sanitation. Now see, sanitation word has come. Okay, so whether you want or not, but sanitation part is going to be part of our work going forward, right? There is no solid waste management and liquid waste management. These are 2 coming together, and in future we will have to develop both skills, and we will have to develop liking for both, whether we like it or not. Okay, so this is the the top level. Again, to reiterate, the segregation, collection, process, carrying, processing, and disposal. The whole thing carries 2,400 points. However, the GFC carries 1,100. So just add it together. 3,500 out of 6,000 is only for garbage collection and processing total. The remaining is 900 points out of 6,000 is for toilets and water treatment, sewage treatment, basically sewage and the FTP and all that. See, again, as a strategy, they have not touched the effluent treatment plant. Whatever we gave it, get it 1/3 of Bangalore, that is Vrishabhavati Valley. Out of 3 valleys, 1 major valley is Vrishabhavati Valley, where 5 industrial estates are spoiling the whole scenario by dumping chemicals in that, right? So that is not a single word is there in that. Rest assured, it will come next year. So we don't have much to prepare for it, right? So this is the thing. And 1,600 is based on how people think about it. So just add it to 3,500. So how much marks do you control out of 6,000? 3,500 plus 1,600. That means more than 5,000 marks, right? 5,100 marks out of 6,000 you control directly. It's only the toilet and sewage related 900 points which are not in your hands. So this team is actually responsible for almost like getting distinction for Bangalore, you can say. Now we will see how much of that you can do at your level and how much of this is actually to be pushed upwards.
Yeah, Nagesh, next one is okay. You went into this will be starting from chapter 1. So we'll keep the chapter 1 onwards until now.
Yeah.
Can you go for our that 2 slides?
Yeah, this is a good idea. This is a good break point actually. This will be anyway covered in chapter 1.
Yeah. Now will Nagesh, can we go to our textbook? I mean the toolkit and April and other things, the quarterly and those this thing. I think so. It is slide number.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll just have to select that.
Yeah.
1 minute. I have to stop sharing.
Yeah.
How do I stop sharing actually? Are you able to see now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
sir.
still seeing it. You have to say stop sharing.
The
No,
bottom of
there
the
is no
screen.
stop sharing here.
Yes, yes.
It says advanced sharing options, and that's all. Multiple sharing can share.
No, you say escape on your screen.
You take away my right, so that it will stop sharing then.
Again, you are doing it.
Yeah, I
rather
took
than
away your, I took away your rights.
rather than struggling with the app actually.
Quarter starts in the quarter one, that is first quarter starts in the month of April. And remember this one, so what will happen in the first quarter, this will be as per the indicators of 2021, not as per the indicators of 2022, because it would have just started and they would have just given. So you are seeing in red, they are given it, telling that it will be in the SS indicators will be as per 2021 indicators. So, and then there will be, it is around, then it will be quarter one, 300 marks, 13% of the 2000, whatever is there. And this will be on-call validation in July and August. So in the month of July, between July and August, there will be on-call validation. That is, once you put up your, once the city puts up its real-time data or the data up on the portal, as per the data and the marks that they have put up, there will be a validation, on-call validation over the phone being done by the auditors. Now, auditor can be anybody. Whoever is auditing, nobody comes to know who is actually sitting and auditing in this one. So the auditors will be doing that one, and it will be on call. That is between April to June. And the same time, the second quarter is between July to September, and that is 600 marks. You can see they are also looking at that you gradually participate, and you don't immediately get into too much of trouble, to gradually see that you are increasing your thing. Like, and if you're not able to solve certain problems between month of April to June, then at least to June to September they expect you to solve the problems and solve that whole thing and come up in your in your process or in your progress and other things. That is service level progresses. So that is where the next quarter is there. Then the last quarter is quarter 3 between October and December. And this validation, which is for 1500 marks, will be done on field validation. So this will be on field in the month of January 2022. And that is when they will come on field, they will be there on ground. And if you have told them that, we are doing twice a sweeping of the market areas, you have claimed that one and you have claimed the marks on that one, or you have claimed whatever, we will later on we'll show you how the marks are taken also, and how the marks are calculated. And if they see something, if it is negative, what will happen? If they see something positive, what will happen? And this validation is done on field validation in the month of January. So remember one thing, the marks are not given only by doing something in the month of Jan or only doing in the quarter 3. You need to do quarter 1, you need to do quarter 2, because those marks put together is 2400. This marks will be added to the your this thing also in your final marks when it is taken. This will be added over to that one also. So we should know that it is just not only the month of the last quarter, or it is not only a month of January that this whole survey happens, and only during the month of December and January we will do something and we will get away with something. It is not going to work out anymore. It has to be real time. Remember, this year 2022 onwards, it is real time data. So you need to deal, like, if it is going to be today, it is October, today it is 26th of September. Today's data should have been uploaded as to how many vehicles, how much of garbage you have taken, where it is gone, what is the amount of this thing, whether the processing center has received, what did it process, how much did it go out, where did it go out, to whom did it go out. All this data needs to go out in real time, and that has to be in toto. So, and that one has to be correlated and collaborated in the end of the day with Swachh Sarvekshan. That is when they come on field and when they do on call also. So even for disposal and everything, there is a methodology that they are doing. So we will come to those things on a later part. We will be Nagesh. Next one is this thing, right?
Yeah. Now ranking and other things are there. This section is all about ranking.
No, can we finish off this 2 slides, Sandhya?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go with the next thing also. So we'll go to the next slide. Nagesh,
Should I
next
cover this? What is ranking and all that?
no need.
Finish all this so that from the next time you can get into the detail of every section and start looking at
Yeah.
the overall. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Another
that's
10 minutes. Yeah. We are
That's
at
so
4:55. I think it's okay to do up to 5:10.
Yeah. We'll
So
go to the next
this here our first lesson starts actually, second session.
one. Yeah. This we'll do from next class. We'll do the service level progress. We'll do the first chapter. Nagesh, previous 3.
Sorry, which one?
Yeah, this one only.
This one.
Yeah, but the previous one also you can do it up. Yeah, how they are doing the thing. You will take it, Nagesh, or I'll.
I will do. See, there are 2 different categories actually. Ranking is done in 2 different ways. One is called the absolute ranking all across India, where above 1 lakh and below 1 lakh population cities are segregated and different lists are published, which is shown on the left side. On the right side, there is the Prerak Daud. This is, spelled as DAUUR, but it is actually Daud in Hindi means run. So Prerak run means inspirational run. So that means the cities are supposed to vie for these 5 spots, top 5 spots, which are given the platinum class, gold class, silver class, bronze class, copper class. So equivalent Hindi name is given, and they basically belong to the top class, and there is a separate ranking for all Ganga towns. So, for Namami Gange, they have a different category, and for cantonment boards, there is a different competition. So we are in the general category. So the blue band in the middle of the screen is applicable to us. So, but this only general category is within our reach right now. The others are, for the top achiever people actually. So here the awards, there are awards also. So the 3 top national level awards were ranked 1, 2, 3, and they each population category is there are different population categories, and they have given the number also of ULBs which are in that population class. So this is the type of categories in below 1 lakh population. Above 1 lakh, there are again separate classes, and above 40 lakh is 9 ULBs, where we are one of them actually, obviously one of the top. Maybe I think number 3 in terms of population. So we are here in this right side column. So we are vying for this actually. So in that, there are 2 categories, both state with there is a state level competition also. State with more than 100 ULB has a small state category, and state with more than 100 ULB and less than 100 ULB. So the large state and small state by bifurcation is done, and this is the bifurcation of the weightage. So depending on how many cities win in or how many cities are ranked in the competition, the states also will be having their own ranking. So 50% of the total is given for state, how the state is supporting the ULBs. That means what kind of budget and what kind of funds are allocated, and what is the e-procurement done for them, and other criteria is there actually. 8 different criteria. What are the plans approved, property tax floor rate notified, user charges, for SWM also added, because pay per use is a concept which is brought in now. It cannot be free. So everybody has to pay for it, and the polluter pays concept applies. So the higher the pollution, the more the charges. So all that principle has to work here. So 50% of the marks are applied in that. 30% weightage is given to GFC and this other competition which I mentioned, which is ODF plus, ODF plus plus, and water plus. So toilet and water, sewage treatment, that carries 30%. But within these three, GFC is again, applicable to us. That is garbage free city. So again, you can say some weightage is basically, we can compete there also. However, the ask is very huge there. GFC is a very tough competition where you have the cities have 1-star, 3-star, 5-star, and 7-star different, status. And to get into the higher classes is tough actually. So this 30% or otherwise we have to write off that 30%. So that is the toughness of the competition for state level I am talking about. And 20% weightage is given to number of percent of city falling in this Prerak Daud competition. That means these are the topper cities. So how many percent of cities actually can get the entry in the top class? So that is 20%. So roughly we can say, looking at our situation, we cannot boast about, almost like 50% of the area we are weak here, state-wise. And we can, perform in the, the first column 50% maybe, and we have to then compete at state level in that. Otherwise, our state also will have a very low ranking. So as the preparedness for the competition goes for the state, there's a lot of it's, there in, at stake for the state also. Ram?
Yeah, no, Prerak Daud. This Prerak Daud has been introduced only now. This is the first time that they are introducing in 2022. And you can see the qualifying criteria. We are not talking about, everybody can get it. Copper is the lowest, and it simply asks for segregation of waste, wet, dry, and hazardous. Mandatory is 60% of the ward should have 100% segregation. Remember, it cannot be 40%, it cannot be 60%, and that ward can become, this is 100% segregation of that ward. Only then that will be considered. And in the city, if 60% of those wards are 100%, only then you can even come to the copper level. That is the kind of criteria that is there. And in that one, then the processing capacity has to be at least 51% processing capacity, and wet waste processing is also 51%. And then you will see the recycling and processing of dry waste, again 51%. C&D waste is 10%. And what will go to the landfill should be up to 20%. That's all. It cannot be that, your 50% of your thing is going. That means you will never be able to compete in this at all. That means only up to 20% can go to the landfill. And percentage of wastewater treated should be at least 55%. And we should be certified as ODF plus. This we are seeing at the lowest criteria. And I think so many of your constituency coordinators and ward coordinators, many of you are there. You can imagine your own constituency, how many wards will qualify, which are 100% segregation. Out of the 60% wards are there, means at least in Bangalore city, we will need at least 120 wards who are doing 100% segregation, no less than that. Only then we will be able to apply for copper. I'm not even talking about bronze, silver, gold, platinum. You want to apply for copper, this is the criteria that they have kept it.
So those who are actually coordinating for zones or wards have to evaluate, or will it be stainless steel or mild steel or whatever it is. So right now, where is our position and how much of jump we have to make? So this is the kind of competition we are talking about. This is Prerak Daud, as I said, the topper of that, and that actually plays a part in the last 20% for the state. So it has a lot to gain if its cities basically get into the toppers, right?
I think so. That's all I think so. The next slide, next one would be the next class, this thing, right?
No, next is the actual SLP.
Yeah, this class, we